Hi, my name is Carrie Chan. I'm creating a screencast about inventors and inventions. This is coming at a very good time for us in Venezuela, considering the political climate that's occurring. Many of our children are not able to come to school. Our school is turning to a blended learning model where children at home are still learning the same things as the children at school via online resources. In order to start our invention unit, we talk about inventions that have already been created, and often our children will say that they are not going to be able to create an invention because they're kids, and kids can't create an invention that people would use. So in order to kind of get them started and to make them realize that actually a lot of inventions have been created by kid researchers and inventors, we're going to do a research on inventions created by children. So the first thing our kids would do is they would go to the Family Class Web's virtual learning. Clicking on there, they would go to the grade 3. We have a social studies page over here which they would click on. These are the different units we teach. They would go to inventors and their invention. Here I've already listed several sites that they might be interested in looking at home or at school, but what we're interested here is the library page, where if they go to the library they can look at the recommended search engines. We've used Bullify when they're looking for something quite specific, and that's when we start looking at end and no, but in this case we're going to have a look at KidRex. KidRex is the search engine we tend to use the most at ECA, so the kids are quite familiar with it. Here they could enter kid inventors, and when the results come up, I always tell my children kind of look at the first 10 to 15 results that come up. Looking here, we can see several good ones, several interesting ones: 10 great inventions dreamt up by children, inventions by kids, inventions made by kids. All of these seem like very interesting ones. We're going to go over to inventions by kids. This is a great site, and one of the things that we'll talk about with the kids as well is that sometimes if they have pictures and they have writing that give a quick blurb on something that you can understand, these are the sites that we're looking for. And as they flip through, they could do a quick little browse, and they can see there's a great picture of the invention and some of the information about it. And as they flip through, they might say, you know what, this is a really great site. My assignment for children at home and at school would be to I would send them a Digo account for a group for inventors and inventions, and I have it over here. And from there, what we would do is the children would find the site they like, and then they would add it to the Digo 3A inventors site. They would bookmark it. So on the screencast, I would teach the children to find the site that they like, that they think would be interesting for other children as well, and then they would just copy, go to their 3A Inventors Digo account, they would hit bookmark, paste, next. This all has the information on it, so we don't really need to add anything, and then they would post. To check that their site was bookmarked, they just have to refresh it, and there it is. It's a great way for us to check, as teachers, to check that the children have done their work, their assignment, because you could assign it as a homework assignment. Is here they would say it would be shared by, and their name would come up. So you could do a quick overview of who did their homework, who didn't. From there, that we would have a compilation of all the different sites that children have found. We can start looking at the sites, see which ones are great to share, see which ones maybe aren't so good. And then what I would have my children do is I would have them go to their e-portfolio, and I would have them add their link to their e-portfolio, and I would have them do kind of a a review or a reflection on their search and on their results that they received. If the children weren't happy with their results, they could always go back, and they could go back to their search, and maybe they can find something else that they would be interested in looking at. So maybe they could change the words around. Instead of kid inventors, they might do inventions by children. Click that in and see if they have anything great. They do have a lot of results, which is ordinarily something we would try and tell our children to keep looking so that we can have smaller results. But in terms of what my children would be looking for, narrowing the result down isn't that important if they can find a lot of good sites within the first 10-15. If the results are good, I'm not too concerned with the number overall of results. I understand when you're looking and you're researching for something quite specific, you want to narrow it down, and that's what we were working on when we were looking at Bullify. But in terms of just coming up with sites that talk about children and the inventions that they can come up with, successful inventions, is not too important for me. Okay, and this is what I would do. Obviously my language and the sites and how I would present it would be a little bit differently because I would be gearing it to the children and what they were familiar with. I would refer back to that rather than just the research. And that is my screencast. Thank you for listening.